Hey, best friends, welcome. Tonight is a super touchy conversation. Um, this is one of those conversations you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Why? Because the conversation is normally about staying focused on your goals, right? The conversation is normally why you need to stick to it, why you need to follow through, why you need to stay the course. And that's normally what the conversation looks like. But tonight we're going in a different direction. Tonight we're going to talk about when it's time to just drop that thing, when it's time to give up on that thing, because sometimes we have to give up on some things that we initially start because they're just not working anymore, right? And like I said before, everyone's always talking about stay the course, don't give up, keep pushing, follow through, all of the things. But sometimes there are moments in your career and when you're building, when you're trying to grow, that you have to quit. Okay. And let me just say this: quitting and giving up is not always a bad thing. There have been things that I have given up on, and they have led me to my actual purpose. They have helped me figure out what I was supposed to do. They have just guided me into the right direction. So I want y'all to know this and understand this. Don't let people tell you to stay into something when things have changed with them. All right. So, when is it a good time to give up? The first thing that I would say is the best time to give up on a dream or a goal is when you have followed a trend versus doing something that you actually enjoy and you're passionate about. Let me stress this: nothing gets older and stressful. Nothing gets as old and stressful as doing something that you got into because you saw it trending at that moment. And then you get into it and you realize that your passion is not there, you realize that your purpose is not there, you realize that your heart is not in it, and you just did it at that moment. Okay, let's talk about some businesses that were kind of trendy at a certain time and people were jumping into them. All right, there were so many people that were running out and they were putting cars on Toro, right? They were putting, apartments on Airbnb, and it was just looking like people were making a killing doing this. And some people are. But then people started to actually get in the business, right? They started listing these cars. They started managing these properties. They started dealing with tenants. They started dealing with checking people in and checking people out and hiring housekeepers and doing all the things that come along with running these businesses. And they realize this is not what I want to do. This is not my ministry. This is not what God has for me. And I need to go in a different direction. Let me be the first to say there will be things that you get into because they look very trendy, they look very promising online, and you jump into them. And then you realize, no, this is not it. Okay. Melanie said trucking became very popular, but right now it is not. Melanie, I know that you were in that business model. I'm just praying for you. I, know that there are a lot of people who are pivoting right now and doing some different things, but I'm wishing you much success. Another time and place where you need to just give up on that goal is when your life or your beliefs have changed. Now, this is a deeper one. Why? Because as we grow older, as we evolve, as we find ourselves, as we realize what we are called to do, some of us don't feel comfortable doing the things that we were doing before. I talk to women every day and they're like, I don't want to be this person that is doing this or doing that or showing this or showing that online. This business no longer aligns with my beliefs. I've changed spiritually, and this is not the life that I want to live. You see a lot of people making that shift, and I'm so happy. Let me just say this: I'm so proud of y'all. I'm so proud of everyone who is connecting spiritually, that's saying, all right, this no longer serves me. This is no longer aligning with my life. I'm not drinking no more. I'm not doing this anymore. You just see people deciding that they want to do something different. And I'm that kind of person where I support you in whatever you do. Whatever you decide that you no longer want to participate in because you are on whatever journey that you're on, sis, I'm here for you. Do that thing. take that take that turn, make that shift because you got to do what's best for you and what you feel comfortable in your heart. I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing people saying, "Hey, I'm not eating this way anymore. I'm working out. I'm going to the gym." Whatever the hell it is that you feel like you don't want to do anymore and you're making that shift, if your business does not align with that or that goal or that dream that you once desired no longer aligns with that, say goodbye and don't feel guilty about it, right? If you were doing some sort of business that truly didn't align with your heart, if you did a business that does not align with you spiritually, you may be selling stuff that you're like, no, this is not it, right? You may have dedicated your life to Christ. You're like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell dildos no more. Hey, do whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever it is that you are feeling, be okay with that because there is nothing wrong with you saying, I'm giving up on this dream. I'm giving up on this goal. There is 100% nothing wrong with that. And you will get to a place. And let me just say, there is always going to be constant change happening in our life. There is a quote that I heard someone say that says, if you never contradict yourself, then you aren't truly growing. All right. If you are not a person who once said, I would never do this, or I would never do that, and you look up and you're doing that now, then you aren't growing, you aren't evolving because we always say what we won't do, right? And then we evolve and we grow, and then things start to change. We have different perspectives on things, and we find ourselves doing some things that we're like, man, I would never do that, right? And that happens with growth, that happens with maturity. We are always changing, we're always evolving, and we're always growing. So I want to stress, whenever you get to a place in your business where what you're doing, what you're selling, what you're marketing, it no longer aligns with your spiritual beliefs and it's affecting you, you're feeling convicted, you're feeling guilty. Leave it. Leave it right there. Quit it and move and keep it moving. Okay. Another another time when it is best for you to quit a business or to give up on a dream is when you have started something with someone else, whether it's a friend or a family member, and it is mentally draining you. Okay. There are people who are in business jail right now. and I'm gonna tell y'all what business jail is. Business jail is when you start a business with someone who's a friend of yours, when you start a business with someone who's a family member, and it has been absolute hell ever since you started. Okay. You are pulling all of the weight, you are doing all of the work. That person is not showing up, they're not contributing, right? They are just showing up when the check is deposited. You're tired, you're burnt out, and you are like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Because let me just say this, we start businesses with friends and family members like, okay, this is going to be beneficial because everything won't fall on me. Well, what normally happens, and what happens, I mean, very often, you guys, very often, is that when we go into these business relationships with our cousin and our sisters or our brothers, there is a level of entitlement where people feel like they don't have to do the work, right? And then we're sitting there and we're divvying down the profits, okay? You splitting the checks, they're coming in. Every time the deposit rolls in, someone has their hand out. Well, this is what I call it business jail. When you are stuck in something with somebody that you got in prematurely, it sounded really good, and now you cannot get out of it. Okay. Why? Because you have paperwork involved. You know, ain't got this LLC, you ain't got this website, you ain't got this bank account, you ain't got all this stuff. This is a moment where it's time to quit. Save yourself on the early end versus on the back end. Okay. This is a moment where it's time to quit. Now, we're always talking about why you got to keep going. Tonight, we're talking about when it's time to say goodbye. If you are in business prison with somebody, friend, family, cousin, brother, sister, get out of it. If you are looking up and you are pulling all the weight, you're doing all the work, then you may need to reevaluate that relationship. Let me also add, we always think that it's best to go into partnerships and relationships and things like that with people. That is always the mindset because we feel like, hey, you know, two birds can kill one stone. We feel like, hey, this will be more powerful, right? Hey, I can get more done. Where sometimes it's not about you going into business with someone. Sometimes the best thing that you can do for your business is simply hire, get an intern, outsource, because that will give you a higher profit margin. You'll be keeping probably 90% of your income versus splitting that income down the middle. Okay. So just think about that. We often go into these partnerships with our cousins, our sisters, our nieces, our aunties, all these different people because we think that it will take some of the weight off of our shoulders. When in all actuality, best friend, if we just outsource, hire someone part-time, get them to do the things that we imagine that that family member was going to do for us, we could end up saving so much more money. But now, if you're locked into it, it's getting ugly, it's getting crazy. The money is at the root of things. You're doing the work. Quit it, drop it, and keep it going. Okay. Quit it, drop it, and keep it going. All right. Now, let's talk about another time in your life where it's time to say, I quit this. I'm giving up on this dream. And as we have this discussion, best friends, I want you all to be comfortable with letting things go. There's a pruning season in everyone's life. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's businesses, okay? Sometimes it's your cousin. Listen, you may be in that season right now, and it just may be a few of those goals that you have to scratch off of that list, all right? Another time where it may be a moment where it's time to quit on that dream, give up on that goal, say, I'm not working towards this anymore, is when the market changes. And this is when you're doing a business that is no longer in need. How many of you all have ever done a business and things are getting old, right? People are not buying that type of product anymore. Let me give you an example. Remember when everyone used to get the newspaper sent to their home, and every morning the newspaper would come and you would sign up and you would pay for that newspaper to be delivered, and you would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. People had newspaper routes and they were making money doing newspaper routes. That was a big thing, right? Well, try that now. Try that now. This is an example of the market evolving and you trying to change and you trying to stay in a changing market. Sometimes you just got to switch it up and say, okay, got to go. This isn't it, right? This is a moment where it's time to quit. This is a moment where it's time to give up on that business. It's time to give up on that dream. If you are doing a business that is no longer evolving in the market. Let's talk about a company that tried this and they took a hit. And when I say they took a hit, baby, they took a major hit. All right. We saw Blockbusters go through this. Yes, Joy. Joy said it. Joy said it before I can even say Blockbusters went through this. Okay. They saw places and companies, you know, coming out and they were like, you know, we have this. We're dominating our lane. We're staying here. We're thriving. We're not going to change. And then Netflix came along. And then all these streaming companies came along. And then slowly but surely, their business started to decline because they refused to quit or evolve with the market. Okay. So you all have to think about this when it comes to your business. Are you still doing something that is outdated? Is your marketing outdated? Is the service that you're providing outdated? Do you need to quit that dream, that goal, that vision that you once had? Because if you are in that place, what normally happens is you start to take more of a hit trying to hang on to the goal, then you would, you risk making more money moving on to something that's a little more profitable. Okay. Now, this leads me to my next one. And a lot of you all have been going through this for quite a long time. Okay. This is the perfect time to quit if your business is killing you financially. And when I say killing you financially, best friends, I mean you are not making the money that you want to make. Okay. Let's talk about this. I see so many people try to stay in businesses. Sorry, y'all. I see so many people try to stay in businesses that are no longer working for them. Okay. That are no longer working for them. All right. And what does that mean? That means overhead is too expensive. That means you can't afford to pay the employees. That means the income is not coming in the way it used to come in, right? That means that you are way in over your head and you are in denial. Denial is a real thing, okay? Denial is a very serious thing. It's like you are seeing the money just go down, 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 down. And you're so emotionally connected to the business, you don't want to let it go. Why? Because you had this image, right? How many of you all have been there? You're like, I got my friends on social media watching me. I've invested into this thing so much that all of my savings is in here. You're like my friends, my cousins. I've done my presentation to my family members. I don't want to let this go. Because if I let this go, what are people going to think? Most of the time, people stay into these businesses and they continue to put themselves in more and more and more and more debt. Why? Because they are so concerned. They're more concerned about their image than they are about their bank account. And when we get to a point where we start caring more about our image than our bank account, we start making very stupid decisions, right? We do things to save face, right? We do things to look the part. I have seen people constantly start different businesses because they have the announcement syndrome. Y'all know what the announcement syndrome is? Anybody know what the announcement syndrome is? Best friend, the announcement syndrome is when you are addicted to the attention, the comments, the likes that you get when you make a new announcement. It's like every time you turn around, you're trying to find something to announce so that people can congratulate you. But the reality of things is there may not be any income coming in after the announcement because you didn't follow through with the last announcement that you made and the announcement before that and the announcement before that. But it looks like you're busy. It looks like you're working. It looks like things are happening for you. But are they really? Are they really? I have seen people take out loans. I have seen people pull equity out their homes. I have seen people lose their homes, lose their cars, lose their jobs, move out of their homes, become a burden to family members, become a burden to best friends, become a burden to cousins, all because they allowed their ego to lead them versus saying this is no longer working and I need to quit it. I need to quit it. I need to quit it. This is no longer working. We are not doing this to be popular. Best friends, this is not a popularity contest. We don't start businesses for popularity. We don't start businesses for applause. We don't start businesses just to get likes on Instagram and people to comment under our pictures. You are doing this to be profitable. And if the profitability is not there, then it's time to exit. It's time to close it down. Close it down. And let me just say, we know when it's time to close it down. We know in our hearts when it's time to say, this is it. We start asking people questions. We start seeing that the sales are dying out. And you get to this point when you have done everything that you can possibly do. And you've done it for longer than 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. I'm talking to you all who have been doing something for 5 years, 7 years, okay? 7 years, and you know it's not working, but you're holding on to it. If you are putting yourself in financial hardship because your ego and your emotions and you have this personal connection to this thing, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. When else is it time to quit? When you emotionally too involved? Too emotionally involved. Too emotionally involved. When else? Ronnie, when else? What else is it? When do I know? People ask me, when do I know that it's time to give up on this thing? You know what? When you lost your passion for it. When you dread doing it. Some of you all have started businesses and it is stressing you the heck out. When I say all the way out, bam, that's right. Let me just when I say you are so stressed, you are so tired, you have lost your passion, you dread getting up in the morning to even work on this business. You hate it. Have you ever started to hate your business? I mean, really, to the point where when you wake up, you don't even want to check the emails. You don't even want to do it. You don't want to look at it. It's not you anymore. You ever look in the mirror and you say, this is not me anymore. This is not what God has called me to do. This is not the life design that I want to create for myself. If you lost your passion, quit it. Because you are going to start building up this resentment for dedicating years and not seeing results, because once you mentally tap out, the income is going to go down. Because whatever you tell yourself up here, it becomes your reality. It becomes your actions. It becomes the way you live. How many of you all have seen this happen? You've seen this happen. You have begun to say, this isn't it. This isn't working. The money isn't flowing in. And then the money stops flowing in and things stop working. This is it. This is when you are no longer passionate about what you do. And many of us are holding on because, yes, we want the title entrepreneur, business owner. We want to say that because we feel like that makes us look like we are on another level. Let me also add this because y'all know I am always one to keep it very real and raw with you. You can work in corporate America and have massive success. Let me say that one more time. Best friend, you can work in corporate America and have massive success. Your peace can be in corporate America. Your freedom can be in corporate America if it provides you the freedom, the flexibility, and the income that you want. Let me tell you a little secret. I am an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years. It is not as pretty as people make you think it is. But I have friends who are entrepreneurs and I have friends who are working in corporate America. And let me tell you who is winning sometimes. My friends that can come home, turn that computer off, they clock out at 5 o'clock, and whatever happens after 5 has nothing to do with them. They're winning sometimes. I also have friends that are entrepreneurs, like myself. When they come home and they think their day is over, something happens at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Yes, I said 12 a.m. Yes, I said 12 a.m. And you know what they have to do? They have to get up out of their bed. They have to leave the family vacation. Okay. They have to exit the room and take that call and make sure that things get done, because that is not how things work in corporate America. All right. You are constantly on call. There is no clocking out, there's no logging out, best friend. So when I stress to you that you can still win, have peace, make money, and be happy working in corporate America, let me just sprinkle that in there, because sometimes people make you feel like if you are not an entrepreneur, you aren't winning. You can have success, peace, and freedom in corporate America, come home, turn that laptop off, and live your best life, knowing that from 5 o'clock to when you wake up the next day, it's none of your business. Let's sprinkle that. Let's sprinkle that. Yes, if you are feeling that I am no longer passionate about this, it's time to quit. If you are feeling that my heart is no longer in this, yes, it is time to quit. These are moments, best friends, when it's time to quit, when it's time to reconsider what you're doing. While everyone else is going to force you to push through, stay the course, your best friend is going to tell you to deuces, deuces. If it's costing you your peace of mind, it's no longer worth it. If you stressed out, drained, not getting results, money going down the drain, it's no longer worth it. It's no longer worth it. Okay. And here is my final thing tonight. When you really know it's time to go. Okay. When you really know it's time to say goodbye, when you really know it's time to give up. Okay. This is my last and final thing that I'm going to add. When you aren't willing to do the work that is required to take that thing to the next level, don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time. Because many of you all started something and you had this vision, you had this dream, you had this goal, and you thought it was going to be a walk in the park. And then you got into it and you're realizing that it's going to take a little bit more, that you're really going to have to put a little muscle in it, right? You realize that, oh, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And you're sitting back and you're analyzing these sacrifices and you're like, oh, so I'm going to have to call people every day? Yeah, you are. How bad do you want it? Then you're like, oh, so I got to keep emailing these people every day, writing these emails. Yeah, you do. You're going to have to write them every single week, a few times a week. Oh, you're like, so I got to make these videos and post them on social media. Yes, you do, best friend. You got to do it. How bad do you want it? And you're going to have to do it consistently, right? And you're like, but I don't want to be on social media. Well, I don't want to write emails. Well, I don't want to be consistent in this. Well, I don't want to have to show up on a regular basis. Well, are you sure that you really want this? Because if you're really not willing to do what it takes, then just quit. Just quit. Because the excuses are going to continue to come. The reasons why it's not working for you are going to continue to happen, right? Until you get to the point where you tell yourself, I'm truly committed to this. If you're not going to be committed to it, just give up now. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up stressing yourself out. You're going to end up wasting someone else's time. Some of y'all are going to go get in some courses, some classes, some memberships, and you're going to procrastinate. You're not going to follow through. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're going to start making excuses. You're going to say, I don't have time. I don't know what type of content to put up. I'm tired. I need balance. How bad do you want it? So if you aren't willing to do what's needed and what's required to be successful, then just go ahead and give up now. And then let me just also add this. Let me add this. Sometimes giving up and quitting a business, a dream, or a goal, sometimes you're not really giving up. Okay. When I 100% support the giving up and saying, no, I'm going in a different direction, is when you're pivoting. Sometimes you got to pivot. Sometimes you got to try something different. You got to go in a different direction. And it's okay to try different things until you figure that thing out. How many of you all have been ashamed and embarrassed to go in a different direction, to try a new business, to try that new goal, right? Because you're like, man, people are going to think I'm crazy because I'm trying all these different things. Best friends, we are learning, we are finding ourselves, we are becoming who we are. It is 110% okay for you to decide that you are going to try something different. Life is all about trying some things that are different. You try different things, you figure out what you like, you figure out what you don't like, and then you go on about your business. I tell my mentees all the time, it is about finding out what you don't like. So you have to do it to figure it out if you like it or not. It's okay. You keep on trying different stuff until you figure out what works with you. Quit it. The minute you realize that this is not for you, quit next. I didn't like that. And then you write down what you didn't like. And as you grow, you're going to realize, okay, I like doing this, but I don't like doing this. I like coming up with strategy, but I may not like talking to people. Okay. I like to be behind the scenes. I may not be on the scenes person. I could do a podcast, but I don't want to do it visually. I'm more of a talker behind the scenes. When the camera comes on, I don't really like to talk. You have to figure out what's best for you. And then you begin to create. You begin to create that vision for your life based on what you decide. But don't stop trying new stuff because people, we are in a very interesting time where people will make you feel like crap because you have the power inside of you to take leaps and try new things. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it where people make you feel like you are crazy for taking leaps and trying new things. And the moment you ask them for some money, then Lord have mercy, you just as crazy, right? But they will make you feel crazy or make you feel like you're doing the worst thing by trying new things. I want you all to get to a point where you are okay with saying, yeah, girl, I gave that a try. I tried that out. Definitely tried that, didn't work for me. This is what I did or did not like about it. I want us to get into that space where we are okay with saying, I'm discovering myself and I'm also discovering what I enjoy. Try those different businesses. I've done so many different things. Okay. I've pivoted tons of times, and pivoting is okay. All right. Pivoting is essential to your growth. So these are the times where I feel like it is 100% okay to give up, to quit that business, to quit that dream, or to quit that goal. All right. I want to take a second and look at the chat over here. You all can put any questions that you have in the chat. Shout out to Style with MJ. She is one of my subscribers on here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all go and follow her YouTube as well, Style with MJ. I appreciate you being a subscriber here on YouTube as well. That means a lot to me. Any questions, you can drop it in the chat. Let me know. I'm going to read them back. All right. And I'll answer them live here for you all. Okay. Tiffany said I was not expecting that during the live. Listen, let me just say this. I want us to be happy. And sometimes our happiness is rooted in doing new things. It is rooted in new things, new opportunities, new starts, new businesses, new relationships, new friendships, new goals. There is so much happiness and peace rooted there. Every day that we wake up, I want you all to know and understand it's an opportunity for you to rewrite your story and live your life over again. If you wake up in the morning and there's breath in your body, and you can give it another shot, do that. If you wake up in the morning and you feel like, hey, you want to go in a different direction, do that. Do whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you joy, because life is short, you guys. And some of us, we've been holding on to these dreams and these goals because we've told people about them. We've shared them with our partners, our spouses, our moms, our dads, our friends. And it's okay to say, hey, at one point in time, that was my goal, but I've changed. And that is no longer my goal. I have some new things that interest me. I'm no longer interested in that anymore. And I'm going in a different direction. Okay. I am going in a different direction. Tiffany says, people say I have my hands in too many things, but it's everything I love to do. Let me touch on this, Tiffany, because I hear this a lot. Okay. We are so talented, and sometimes we can be really good at a lot of different things. Okay. And what I've learned is that just because we're good at a lot of things doesn't mean that everything that we are good at needs to become a business model. Okay. And just because we're good at it doesn't mean that we have to serve every single person in that area. We are really gifted. You're probably a very gifted woman. There are going to be a lot of things that you are good at. But if you continue to attempt to monetize everything that you are good at, you will be all over the place. And what I've learned is that the goal is to not be everywhere doing everything. The goal is to have one thing that you can monetize in multiple ways. Okay. One thing, one or two things. Okay. That's like the max that I would say get yourself in when it comes to trying to manage businesses, right? But what I would suggest is to focus on that one thing for quite a while, to a point where it is created income, it's automated, your systems are set up the right way, okay? And you can step away from it and it is running like a well-oiled machine. The income is increasing when you're not there, you're making money consistently. This is when you know that now you can focus on something else. If the business hasn't reached, that point yet, I would say let's focus, because everything else may become a distraction for you from that point on. So just because you can do all things, it does not mean, excuse me, it doesn't mean that you are supposed to do all things. So I want us to get out of that mindset of just because I can do it doesn't mean that I'm called to do it. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you're called to do it. Okay. Take some time and give your all to one thing. Give your all to one thing. So, yes, you will have a ton of different things that you can do, but do you want to do all those things at one time? We got to really think about our life design. And I'm always talking life design, but do we want to be all over the place? Do we want to be crazy busy? Okay. Do we want to be up and down and here and there and checking this email system and that email system? You're going to have to hire people to take care of that stuff. That's going to be more stress and weight on you. You will look up and you will be so burnt out. All right. This next question is from my girl Winnie G. She says, I am pivoting into a new zone. Should the business be changed completely, name, trademark, etc., or is keeping it fine with the new direction? Let me just say that people could probably care less what the name of the business is. If you have something that is trademarked that you've been using, roll out the new service, right? People are buying into you. They really don't care that much. We think they care, but they really don't. If they're buying into you, they're buying into your service, they're buying into your product. Most of the time, whatever you call it, if they rocking with you, they're rocking with you, right? You're just the only person that is overthinking that. You think you need to redo the whole shebang, and it's not normally the case. Okay. Let me just say this, roll it out, roll the new service, excuse me, roll the new services out and see how people respond to you. They may respond to you very well. Okay. You may not even need to change things around. You may think that there's always a relaunch needed. Okay. And I say this, and I'm going to say this to you guys. Sometimes you don't need to relaunch, sometimes you just need to reignite. You need to reignite the fire under you again. Start doing the stuff that you need to do. Roll out your new services, put yourself out there and be consistent. You don't got to do all that. We spend so much money with this fancy smancy rollout, but the people are present. Most of the time, they're just waiting for the new service. Yes, reignite your brand. Reignite your brand. Reignite it. Brad P says, thank you. Someone close to me has said the same things to me that would make me feel that something is wrong with me for not sticking to something that I don't like. What is that? I think that is people, you know. What we have to know and understand is that we are doing things that most people are not willing to do. We're stepping out on fear. We're stepping out of fear. We are stepping into faith. We're taking leaps. We're betting on ourselves. We are not doing what everyone else is doing, right? Most people are trying to make money. They're playing it safe. They're not doing things that they love. They're afraid. They're scared as you know what to do the things that they enjoy. And we're doing that. So that makes people look at us and say, who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? Like, do they really think that they can do this? I remember when I started making crazy money in my business. Like at that moment, it was crazy money to me because I was, a poor teen mom that grew up in the hood of DC, Washington DC. And when I was sharing with some of my family members what I was doing and how much money I was making, the first thing that they asked me was it legal? Right? Is this legal? Yeah, it's very much legal. Like you can make 5 figures a month. You can make 6 figures a month, right? But at that time, I was making 5 figures a year. So to look up and make 5 figures a month or 6 figures a month, the first question that people begin to ask you is this legal? Why is that the first question? It's the first question because people are always going to doubt and question things that they don't see for themselves. When they can't believe that you are crazy enough to go after your dream, that you are crazy enough to start this business, they're going to start questioning you. They're going to ask you, are you insane? How long do you think this will be around? How long do you think that this is going to last? Have you ever had people ask you that question? People will ask you, how long do you think it's going to last? Or they'll say, everybody's doing that. Girl, you're late. Well, guess what? The people in business don't feel like you're late. People are opening the same types of businesses every day. The nail shops are still opening. The liquor stores are still opening. The spas are still opening. The clothing stores are still opening every day. The boutiques are popping up by the minute on social media. Guess what? Not stopping everyone, not stopping anyone. And the people who want to shop over there are shopping over there. And the people who want to shop over here are shopping over here. Okay? So don't let people tell you that it's too late or you're crazy for doing it, because people are always going to call you crazy for doing things that they don't have the balls to do. When they don't have the ball, excuse me, y'all. When they don't have the balls to do them, they'll always call you crazy. Okay? When people don't have the balls to do something, you'll always be insane for taking the risk. Okay? Let me see. Next question is, what if you are selling a product that you're not passionate about, but now you are starting a new service-based business, affiliate marketing? Should I decide on another product to sell in my niche? I think you need to niche it down. I think that you need to focus on one thing and stay in that lane 100%. I'm reading some of these comments. Yep, exactly. Someone's saying like there are certain stores popping up and you're seeing them everywhere and they're opening them up everywhere and they're winning. Okay. Yeah. Dobby says some of my family members, they know that I do foreign exchange and they tell me it's a scam. I have friends that do that full time. They understand the market, they study it, and they make thousands of dollars. It really depends on your mindset. People are better at discouraging you than encouraging you. And you have to spend more of your time around those who support you, those who uplift you, and those who encourage you. And people who are going to be honest with you based on experience, not based on their personal fears. All right. Hey, Justin, thanks for being here. All right, you guys. Ania, she says, "Hi, Ronnie. I had a successful lash business and salon in San Antonio, but decided to move to Dallas. Last year, my business did not take off as planned, so I moved back, but now I'm discouraged." Okay, well, you know what? Let me just say, let me get some water, y'all. I was eating some popcorn before I came on here, and I should not have eaten that popcorn. All right, let me say this. I have started businesses and they did not pan out the way that I thought they were going to pan out. Yes, it's discouraging. But what it also does is it gives you the opportunity to go back and evaluate that business and see what you did right and what you did wrong. Okay. It also sets you up for greatness. Okay. You are now more experienced. You can now show someone what you did right, but also what you did wrong and what went wrong in that business. Okay. So you don't have to get discouraged. What I would suggest you do is go back to things that will put you in a place where other people are not willing to do that. Now, let me give you an example. Most lash checks, they get online and that's all they say is, "I'm taking appointments." Okay. "I'm taking appointments," or they are trying to teach a lash class. They're trying to get 100 people in it. There's no personal connection, no intimate environment. I would go and say, "Hey, I can offer a one-on-one lash class." I will see if my audience want lashes, or do I have an audience that want to learn how to actually apply those lashes and make money. All right. So sometimes we are offering the wrong thing to our audience. Sometimes we're offering the service versus helping them build their clientele. Sometimes we are trying to sell a service to them when they want to know how to make the money. Okay. So you need to see what type of audience you have. Do you have an audience that wants a service, or do you have an audience that needs to make more money, and they're more interested in how to launch their lash business and how to make an extra $200 to $500 a week doing lashes. So you have to put content out to see which one is best for them, right? Sometimes we think that we're doing what people want, but it's not what they really want. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Go back and see. Hey, are you guys into getting this service done, or would you like to learn how to start your own business and make some income? And then you can go from there, right? If you are setting up, then maybe you don't need to go and open a whole salon. Start small. Get a room in a spa or at a business that has like a suite that's affordable. Share a room with someone else, another person who may be offering waxing. You have to get creative versus jumping out there and opening these businesses, because overhead is so expensive right now. And I just do not recommend that at this point in time. All right. So, you guys, I hope you enjoyed tonight. Remember that it is okay to say goodbye and quit on some of your dreams, especially if you are pivoting. Okay. Love you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. I'll see y'all next week. I'm doing my lives over here, and I hope you guys are enjoying this. And I love you, and I'm wishing you much success. Stay encouraged. Stay motivated, stay real, stay true to yourself, and know that you are in the era of doing anything you dream of. Bye, y'all.